Well, the U.S. Department of Education has launched an investigation into Chicago public schools over its Black Student Success program.
Yeah, we told you about this yesterday. The plan was created with the goal of addressing long-standing racial inequities that have historically affected achievement outcomes for Black students.
A group of parents are now alleging that the plan discriminates against students of other races, making that argument under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act.
So joining us now to dig into all of this is Becky Vivi, a reporter for Chalk Beat Chicago, which is a nonprofit news organization covering education. Becky, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this Black Student Success Plan was just unveiled back in February. Can you explain a little bit more about the specifics of the plan and the goals that CPS had set?
So the plan itself was under development starting back at the end of 2023. And yes, it wasn't unveiled in February, and it includes a series of plans, goals that align with the 5-year strategic plan. So they're saying, in addition to all of the things in our strategic plan, we want to focus on hiring more Black teachers, reducing suspensions and expulsions among Black students. They have been found over many, many years to be disproportionately impacted by harsh discipline, and also prioritize culturally relevant curriculum for people, for all students, but in particular, teaching Black history and culture in our classrooms for students.
Was the rollout of this plan kept a little bit quiet because the CPS could have been anticipating the federal investigation?
Well, like I said, it was under development for many months, and I think that the plan was going to be rolled out in the spring of this year anyway. However, there was a new school board seated in January, and so it did take, I think, a little bit of time before they decided to unveil the full plan. And I think that they had to, after the election results, also take a look and try to ensure that their plan was on legal grounds. And I think, the district did not comment on the opening of the investigation. The federal department, they said, we do not comment on open investigations, but I do know that there was some, before they were unveiling it, there were we had waited a couple of weeks. We thought it was going to happen one day, and then it kind of moved back, but I don't know if that was specific to the federal department.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts and factors to this, that's for sure. I think the big question is, what could happen if the Department of Education finds that CPS is in fact violating Title VI?
So the biggest thing is that Title VI does come with some dollars attached to it, and also other federal streams of money could be in jeopardy. The department could use their authority to change the distribution of those funds. Now, I should say they really can only kind of turn on and off the spigot in terms of the flow of the money, because Congress would have to act in order to actually reduce those dollars or to stop them entirely. But they could certainly pause them. They could, allege that there is wrongdoing, and therefore they are not, then CPS would not be able to access federal funds. We know, having talked to the mayor himself, that if that were to happen, that the city would look at a lawsuit against the administration, declaring that unfair or wrong.
Very interesting, and a lot to come with this, I think. We'll be following 100%. Very closely. Becky, thank you so much for your reporting and for sharing a little bit about that with us this morning. Becky Vivi with Chalk Beat Chicago. Thanks again.
Thank you for having me.